people say, this is the history, that we came from Genghis Khan. They left 1,000 of his soldiers in Afghanistan in the mountains, and out of that, we came to be Hazaras. Groups always condemned that Hazaras are infidel. We should all get rid of them. So we've always been on the run, and we are still in the run today. I remember when the Taliban used to come to our house. If they were hungry, we had to give them food. They wouldn't touch the women, but it was all, if the men would have been home, they would either take them or beat them up.
We have human rights because we're human beings. In Australia, unfortunately, some people think you have human rights because you're white or Christian or pleasant or rich, but you have human rights because you're human.
It's a time of unprecedented global need when it comes to refugee protection, and that means that there are more people than ever before seeking to cross borders in search of safety. But Australia's asylum seeker policy is actually named Operation Sovereign Borders. Its goal, quite simply, is to make sure that no one comes to this country by boat and asks for our help.
At the moment, as I understand it, there are about 2 million Syrian refugees in Lebanon. Jordan has a permanent population of refugees from various places in the order of 1 or 2 million people. The fact is that most countries that are close to big trouble spots have vastly greater numbers of refugees in them than Australia has ever had. For some reason, Australia gets very jumpy about receiving refugees.
Processing and resettlement in Australia is not an option for people who try to reach Australia illegally by boat.
Our government has invented this, dichotomy of the legal, good, asylum seekers that wait their turn in this imaginary line. If they come the correct way, then we owe them something. But these ones that get on a boat and pay people smugglers, well, they're not real refugees if they can afford to get on a boat.
Imagine you're a Hazara. You've fled the Taliban. You managed to get yourself to Indonesia. If you want to, you can go to the UNHCR office in Jakarta and ask to be assessed as a refugee, and the overwhelming likelihood is you will be assessed as a refugee if you're a Hazara from Afghanistan. And then you wait. You wait for some country to offer to resettle you. The trouble is, whilst you wait, you're at risk of being thrown in jail, because if you get a job, the police will find you, you'll go to jail. If you have kids and you send them to school, the police will find you, they'll send you to jail. If you wait for a country to offer resettlement, that may take between 20 and 30 years. The alternative is to put your life in the hands of a people smuggler and get on a boat. Now, I would ask everyone who listens to this, what would you do if you were in that position? What would you do? Would you get on a boat, or would you wait around in the shadows for 20 years?
Australia intercepts asylum seeker boats at sea and sends them straight back without any due process or any assessment of the protection claims of the people on board. Now, there can be no clearer violation of that central promise in the Refugee Convention than returning the persecuted into the hands of their persecutors with no assessment of their refugee claims.
And out of nowhere, the boat was set on fire. And later on, we found out that the boat was set on fire by some people who had previously made the same journey to come to Australia, but were returned back to Indonesia. It took the Navy ship of Australia 2 hours to rescue us from the water. They flew us to Nauru, and then found out that everything was a lie. We were in Nauru for more than 2 years.
Recently, there were allegations that children are being sexually abused and physically abused by staff in the Nauru Detention Centre. That was revealed by Save the Children employees, and it was originally reported internally to the Department of Immigration. And instead of, when they heard about those allegations, investigating the allegations, what has come out is that the staff that reported the allegations were hunted down and fired.
These people who are detained in offshore camps are quite deliberately kept out of sight. They're quite deliberately put in very remote places, beyond the public eye, beyond the reach of media scrutiny, beyond the reach of the rule of law. And I think that sort of bad things happen in dark places.
I would like to think that we have really hit our bottom and that we're not going to go any worse than we are now. I've said that a number of times over the past couple of years, so, you know, who knows what we're capable of and what lengths we'll go to. So I think that given Europe is really at this tipping point, Australia should be a huge screaming warning sign that you don't want to be us. This is not where you want to be. And it's time for you to turn what is going on in Europe around now before you become Australia.